came down. Her head did like a slingshot backwards, and she hit my mouth, and my tooth actually came flying out of my mouth and landed on the gym floor, and she had a gash on the back of her head, so she had to go to the emergency room, and I had to go to the dentist. Needless to say, I wore a bright orange mouthpiece in my mouth for the rest of the week for practice that the football team gave me, actually. What I'm getting to this with my story is cheerleading was once a rather tame sport that has megaphones and high kicks and just pumps the crowd up for football games. But these past 2 decades, cheerleading has changed significantly. Today's cheerleaders use gymnastics and athleticism to catapult one another into the air and stunts and pyramids. Also, with all the changes with cheerleading, it has become very dangerous, which is what I'm going to get at today. I'm going to explain why cheerleading is dangerous and what makes it so dangerous. On June 26th of 2009, USNews.com reported that cheerleading continues to cause more serious and deadly injuries by far than any other sport. Also, cheerleading injuries have doubled since the year of 1990. These are some common injuries that happen with cheerleading, and you can see that knee injuries are the most common. We've actually had 3 knee injuries on the Cameron cheerleading squad this year. Between the years of 1982 and 2007, there were 103 fatalities because of cheerleading. High school cheerleading accounts for 65% of all catastrophic injuries among female sports. It is difficult to find college statistics because cheerleading is not an NCAA sport. And these are some statistics about the injuries that are most common with cheerleading. You can see strains and sprains are what contains most of those, so those are kind of easy to get over. Now let's talk about why cheerleading is so dangerous. The main source of injuries result from increased difficulty from stunts and pyramids. There is a difference between stunts and pyramids. Not to get me wrong, stunts are very dangerous, but pyramids are far more dangerous than stunts. This is an example of a stunt. That's when there's 4 bases on the ground and 1 flyer in the air. The flyer that's in the air usually stands on 2 or 1 foot. And this is an example of a pyramid where there's way more people and there's usually 3 to 4 levels, and you actually throw the top cheerleaders into the air and depend on the other flyers in the air to catch them. The Wall Street Journal stated that college and high school cheerleading squads are no longer allowed to perform flipping basket tosses or twisting dismounts on the gym floor, but they are allowed to have mats on the gym floor. They're allowed to do it on the track and on a football field. Another aspect of why cheerleading is dangerous is gymnastics. Any little default while performing gymnastics can result in catastrophic injury. There are some ways that you can prevent injuries in cheerleading, and that is to make sure that your coach is professionally trained. There are training areas all over the state that you can go to, and it's usually just a weekend to get trained as a coach. If you're learning new pyramids or stunts where you don't feel comfortable with doing them, you can have spots around to make sure that the girl in the air gets caught. And when you're performing gymnastics, have someone that's professional with gymnastics help to teach you. Now I'm going to show a cheerleading video from YouTube, just to show you what kind of accidents can happen when you're not comfortable with cheerleading. There's no doubt that modern cheerleading is rough and dangerous. The number of injuries from cheerleading has rose significantly in the past few decades, but now that everyone is aware that cheerleading is so dangerous and has changed so much throughout the years, coaches and cheerleaders can take better precautions so that cheerleading is not reprimanded.
these front lights?
Sorry?
We can off these front lights.
If we need to, we can, but